All right. Welcome. Welcome to there is a sort of ticky noise.
I hear that. Yeah.
I don't hear it. It must be me.
That's
Damn it.
Oh no, it stopped.
Yeah,
It
it's done.
stopped. Yeah, it's all good. Cool. Welcome to the ticky noise chat. Welcome to Tech Audio Chat. This is the chat where we chat about tech audio and stuff. And yeah, I'm Dan Reynolds, and I've been tech audio chatting for 20 years. This is what's come of it. I'm joined by James Nixon, who's hanging out with us tonight. David Weaver is not able to join. That's sort of like a family emergency or something like that. Last minute. So we're all thinking about him and hoping everything's okay. And also joined by, following that bit of news, Max Hayes.
What's up?
Max Hayes. For reals now, because
For real, right?
there was the one time you said, yeah, I'll be on there. And then you said, nah,
That rug pulled.
not this week. Not this week, son.
My team had a playoff game.
Yeah, Max has like lots of activities he does with his life that aren't related to tech audio, and it's really good for him. So we're really happy to have him take a night off to hang out with us, at least for a little while here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. We've got a couple people in the chat. We got Steve at Shake Noise. Cool. Well, how about we do some introductions, because both of you are kind of new to the stream, and I feel like, so James, I think first met you at GDC.
Probably, yeah.
At a gang after party at Pyramind.
Okay, wow.
In 2013. And
That's
you know why I remember? Because I got sick at GDC.
GDC flu.
I got sick like Tuesday around lunchtime, and then I went back to my hotel and slept for 18 hours.
I remember that now, yeah.
I was like, I basically woke up and it was like Thursday evening, and I was like, I just like missed all of GDC, because like there's nothing that happens on Friday at GDC. Well, traditionally in the old days, I don't know what could happen on Friday.
Most people wait until they get home from GDC to get
Yeah.
horribly ill,
Yeah.
but you were just like, nope, I'm just gonna get it done, get out of the way.
That's right. And I remember thinking, oh, I got to go to that party, and then I just sat in the corner of the live room, like the ISO booth or whatever, and I was just like in the quiet space. And you were there, and we had a cool chat. I remember that. That's how I remember it. That's why I remember all that stuff.
Your memory is far superior to my memory.
My memory is weird. I wish it was superior to anything, but it just picks and chooses some weird stuff to remember, and that's about it. So yeah, why don't you introduce yourself as you wish to be known?
As who I want to be in this
That's
world?
right. Who do you want to see in the mirror looking back at you?
Exactly. So James Nixon. Currently in between jobs, but spent the last 6 years as a principal technical sound designer at Undead Labs. Before that, I was doing sound design for Crackdown and a bunch of games through Microsoft Global Publishing. And these days, I don't know. I kind of want to do it all. I want to be doing the creative stuff as well as the technical, but I do find myself drawn more to the technical a little bit. The challenges, the puzzles. That's kind of my bag. So. I think that's me in a nutshell. I don't know if you want me to expand on that at all, or if we should just hand off to Max.
Well, let's crack the nutshell open later, and first, head over to Max. Max, I don't remember. I don't think that I was at the DigiPen meeting where you met Aaron and stuff, but I did see you. I think it was just when you started your internship at Epic is when I first met you.
Yeah, I think so. You interviewed me for the internship. That might have been the
Okay.
first time.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh yes, I remember. Aaron was like, "I have an intern in mind," and I was like, "Okay."
You're like, well, I'm going to drill him.
Did I give you a hard time? I don't remember.
No, it was very reasonable.
Okay, good.
It made me feel more comfortable actually than
You're
just
like,
getting
"This
a
is
tour.
breeze."
Yeah.
Well, I used, you know what? You know what I remember? Okay, here's what I remember. It was like, so for a while, by the way, anyone at home, I am not involved in recruiting anymore. I'm not involved in any sort of interview. They haven't put me in interviews in a long time. So stop asking me about interviews with Epic. But I used to be put in the interview loop as to check tech background, and I had a set of test questions around like digital audio 101 that we started asking really early on, because like we would run into people who would be like, I've been an audio programmer for 20 years, and they wouldn't be able to describe what Nyquist theorem was, and it was just like,
Yeah.
can't tell me what sample rate is. Like, that's a scary position for an audio programmer. So I think I remember you just like acing that. Probably how close you were to school at the time. That's my guess.
I still got it. I still remember.
You got it. You
My
got it. Yeah,
Nyquist.
you still remember.
It's on my mirror when I'm brushing my teeth. Yeah.
So what about you've kind of had an interesting journey there, Max?
Yeah. So that would have been like 2018, 2019. I started as an intern January 2019.
Yes.
And didn't leave.
I was crunching on Project Chaos.
That's right. Yeah. So I did like a little synth demo for that GDC because everybody was super busy getting ready for GDC. And so I'm like more on the rendering side. So I've helped out with Metasound stuff, or like our ambisonics decoder, done some spatialization, optimization, stuff like that. I wrote Quartz, which is probably like one of my bigger like full-fledged features. Yeah, and these days I've been in a weird space. I've been kind of in like very futuristic, like user-generated content land, which has been interesting, but it feels weird too.
Yeah.
Problems are less nailed down, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a pretty big stretch. I feel like one of the things that you were sort of saddled with was a bunch of hand-me-downs. Like I remember,
Yes.
like a bunch, like yeah, because like you got stream cache at some point, I think, and then
Yeah, got that out the door.
Did you do audio modulation at all, or?
No, that's what I haven't touched.
That was one.
Alfaro got that. Yeah.
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 Cool.
One of our other like COVID interns.
Yeah. So Quartz, for anyone at home, is audio scheduling system, so you can schedule sounds to play at a specific timing. By the way, worth mentioning, James, you've primarily worked with Wise Studios, right?
Yeah.
Labs was using Wise.
Pretty much exclusively, yeah.
And then when you were at Microsoft, was a lot of Wise. They're like tech stack is very Wise centered.
Yeah, I think of all the games I've ever worked on, there was one that was Fmod, and everything else was Wise.
Yeah.
So, which, yeah. I started looking into Metasound a little bit, thinking I should probably figure out this vanilla native stuff, and it's pretty cool stuff. But it's I got some work to do. I got my homework cut out for me.
Yeah, it's different. I think it's worth learning everything, to be honest with you. But there is a sort of buzz around a lot of UE audio stuff. It's new, right? It's a lot of changes happening.
Mm-hmm.
I actually so originally we were sort of flirting around with the idea of looking at some Unreal stuff. We may still do that, but I feel like there's a good opportunity. Having both of you here, I think it'd be really interesting to talk a little bit about tech, the kind of role, the kind of things that you actually do. And because I think there's so much obfuscation around game development in general. Like there's a lot of like there's a lot of secrecy around tech, and everyone thinks they have the secret sauce, and it's like, no, it's all just mayonnaise and ketchup mixed together. And which is, and so I feel like, that it's worth, because this is something I was talking to James off stream about, but I saw James talking to someone on LinkedIn about who was doing tech audio stuff and trying to get work in tech audio, and worrying about demos, because I think there's sort of a very clear path for a lot of sound designers and composers when it comes to how do I shape my demonstration, how do I demonstrate my skills, how do I demonstrate my capabilities, and they can sort of lean on these linear redesigns as a sort of nice looking presentation to carry their demonstration, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of challenge when you're trying to demonstrate technical audio, in particular, because it's influenced by the sound design or music design or production quality, like the level of polish of the content that you're using when you're presenting some kind of technical demonstration influences how people often perceive that demonstration. And which means that you have to either have a special audience or you have to also have those skills as well.
Right.
Totally.
Right? And so I think it'd be cool to sort of, and also likewise with, I think, audio programming, there's so much surface area in both cases, in both sort of domains, to try to showcase. And it's like, is this what people want? And then obviously audio programming has that sort of added narrowness, because the middleware is like so ubiquitous in the industry that and that's sort of trying, it's like sold on the idea that you don't need to hire audio programmers.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Not true.
It's not true. Of course it's not, but there is a sort of like, let's just say I have met some audio programmers who only support middleware, and they're basically just gameplay programmers, with some audio domain knowledge, and it's mixed, and that also depends, I think, from the era which they started their careers, because I feel like there's been a shift lately where there's more I feel like there's more interest in audio feature development. Yeah, so that's
Sweet.
I think that would be interesting to talk about. That's all. That's sort of throwing that out there. How do y'all feel about that?
I dig it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. With the creative sound design demos, it's not to say they're easy to make, but they're very digestible, right? Like you can show it to anyone and they can watch it, and it's 20 seconds of this, 10 seconds of that, 30 seconds of this, and they get it, right? It's all visual, and everyone who's played a game before in their life knows what to expect and how to compare it. And I think with technical sound design, it's like, how do I get that same audience to kind of understand what's happening here, and to appreciate like what I've made? And like you said, they need that creative layer to translate it for them as well. And so you have to make sure that creative layer is also, at the very least, at a reasonable level of polish and quality.
Yeah. I am a strong believer that that sort of, I hate the distinction of creative and technical, but the sort of the design, the sort of design aspect of the sound design, music production, that does most of the heavy lifting in the presentation. Like you can have a very low tech solution,
Mm-hmm.
for your game or experience, and it can still sound really, really good, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So I remember. So I've talked to a lot of folks through GATA who are sort of interested in breaking in, or they've had some very light indie work and they're trying to get bigger jobs or bigger gigs. And I kind of per the conversation that you were having with that person on LinkedIn, I often do recommend doing system, like, oh, build a system, or like show like a weather system, or like a breathing system or something like that, which is,
Mhm.
I think, a useful way to sort of uh, present your ideas in like a very like consumable fashion, right?
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of tech is systemic. I think there's a lot of like, we want to, like, if I'm on the hiring side, I do want to know that you can think architecturally, that you can think about, you can organize things in a way that is systemically sound, I guess, maybe that's how I put it. But I think in practice, like, because I remember, I think I watched one of your demos recently, James. In practice, a lot of the work is workflow acceleration for like the design team, right?
Yeah.
What sorry, I got distracted. Hey, sound effects guy. What yeah, I'm sort of curious how, like, what your take is on that, especially as someone who's worked a lot with like I guess a middleware assisted engine scenario.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. The stuff that I posted recently, these are all tools that I'd made similar versions of at my last job, and um, they're not overly complicated, and so they're all based on kind of the same few building blocks. And I just thought this feels like a nice way to demonstrate some tech without getting too deep into like a system, because I feel like trying to demo an actual system in a short period of time, right? Compare it again to your creative sound design demo, which is like 1 or 2 minutes, right? How do I explain and show off this audio system for you in 1 or 2 minutes? And um, so really, that was just kind of like, I thought this is a good idea to share. I thought people would enjoy it, and I thought it does show a bit of technical technical design. Uh, so it was really kind of like low hanging fruit for me,
Right.
which I think is not like a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
To your point, the earlier conversation, I think his name's Matisse, but
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
the question he was posing is, I'm trying to make a technical sound design reel. How do I, come up with ideas to show off? What do I build that will show off my technical sound design skills? And I think a lot of folks are thinking, okay, I got to build some huge, magnificent system that's going to like blow everyone's mind. But at the end of the day, really, it can be a fairly simple, small system as long as you build it well, right? So as long as you're showing that you've thought through the system, you've thought through how it scales, you've thought through the edge cases, and you've basically accounted for all those things. I think that's, at least for me, that's kind of what makes a technical sound designer more successful.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been guilty of over designing some systems from time to time. And I think, yeah, I don't know, maybe somebody. So like knowing when you got to pare it back, right? Knowing when
Yeah.
you've gone a little too far and this is never going to work, in an open world game with, whatever systems.
Yeah.
So I think just showing that you are cognizant of the game as a whole and that your system has to fit into that and actually has to work at the end of the day.
I feel like edge cases are kind of a challenge though, because I feel like that's one of those things that requires a lot of experience to foresee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've definitely seen people who just don't think about it at all. Right. Yeah. It's like, oh, I've got the system. It's going to do this. It's like, okay, what about this really common scenario that's going to come up, for every single player, every game session? And you need to kind of be able to think those. I don't think you can ever make a system that is just so bulletproof that
No.
that it will never have an edge case that can cause it to fail. But you can try.
I feel like that's what's useful about using like template projects or like partial projects. Like sometimes on the marketplace, you can see sort of there maybe someone's selling like half an RPG or something like that, you know? and it just gives you enough like context technically, you
Yeah.
know, to expose or reveal some of those edges.
Mhm.
Because I think that's one of the hard things too. Is like if you're sometimes when you're sitting at the blank page, you know, you've just got the empty level, and you're like, okay, now I got to do something, you know, and it's like
Yeah.
I have no context for this thing that
Yeah.
I need to achieve, basically.
Well, I think one of the other challenges too is like, is your audience going to have the necessary dev goggles, right? The tech design dev goggles to kind of see what you're building, right?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be like, oh, that's gray box bullshit. It looks ugly, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, but the system. Look at the system. Imagine what it would be like if you had actual artists making assets and putting it in the game. And yeah,
Were they looking for advice on like what projects to take on or how to present them or both?
I think it was a bit of both. I mean, like
Yeah.
he had mentioned, he had a couple things that he'd built, like some spline-based stuff and some was like some 3D ambience kind of generator stuff. And I think he was just saying like, what's the thing that people want to see, right? And I think he was saying like, his point was this feels like small problems, right? Like, what are the big problems that studios are facing or audio departments are facing when they need to get into production?
Right.
And I think maybe that's just kind of like aiming too high for a tech demo, right? Like, you don't need to prove that you can solve the hardest problem. You just need to show that you know how to solve problems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes overestimating the hardest problem, because I think sometimes the hardest problem is the stupidest problem. You know?
Usually,
Like okay, you have 1 million assets. Okay, find the asset that you want. Like
yeah.
like that. Like
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like we have yes.
Yeah.
This has come up. This has been highlighted. I think one of those things that has been highlighted recently for me is like sometimes the simple problems are the like biggest issues in like a scaled production,
Yeah.
because it's like that one, you know, it's death by 1,000 clicks or whatever
Mhm.
the issue is. It's yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I've been at places where that stuff's been brute forced, right? Where
Right.
it's like, here's 1,000 animations. Some of them are wrong. Go. Like, like, um,
We actually had that. That's actually, but sometimes there are good tech solutions. But
mhm.
that is one of that is great. Like that on Lyra, that exactly thing happened. that exact thing happened to me, because I had, you know, a small team of contractors, and there was like an exec review or whatever, and they were going for this gray box style, but the exec review was like, can we make it pretty gray box like? And they're like, we're gonna contract 4 new animators, and I was like, what about us? Like, you're not gonna scale up our head count for this? No, okay. So that I actually, yeah, had to write some scripts to like auto tag, and it was a whole thing that I did not anticipate. I did not plan on when I first was scoping that project.
Yeah.
But those are like environmental problems, like of your big game or your big engine or your tools. Have you ever seen like um, someone showing those off in a demo reel type thing where it's totally simulated? Like I've seen it. If people can say like I was on this big project and I solved this thing, and here it is in my uh, here it is in my bucket. But I don't know if I've ever seen anyone like simulate it or show as like
Yeah.
I'm trying to break into the industry. here's a scenario I made up and solved. That's just because number was big.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a lot of work to do that, right? It's a lot of work to even set up even
that's
just like
for sure.
a very basic, decent looking game environment where you can say, okay, now I added this extra layer on top of it, and yeah, it's a lot of work. I feel like with creative sound design, you can always just grab some capture, right? Some game capture or some cinematic capture and just go to town on it. But with the technical stuff, it's like, yeah, no, you have to have it working in an engine of some sort.
Yeah.
So I guess sort of, I'm curious, Max, what you feel the sort of audio programmer situation is with that regard. Because I remember you did something kind of crazy. I think it was kind of crazy. That's how I heard of you before I met you, because you had impressed Aaron by like writing your own audio engine or something ridiculously big like that.
Oh
And-
yeah.
And oh yeah, and then I remember Helen who's another audio programmer, started around the same time as Max. Oh no, wait, sorry, that was actually a few years later.
Yeah, she's a couple of years.
later?
Her and Alfaro
Anyway.
were.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember Helen got noticed because she had like done a meta sound.
I remember exactly what it was. Helen,
was it?
because she had Aaron had posted this tutorial. I want to say it was on Source Effects, how to write your own source effect for
that's
Unreal
right.
Engine, and she like within 48 hours of him posting that on Twitter, she busted it out, wrote like a flanger or something using it, and kind of documented her process and put it back up. But and it seems like that's just a tight little project. Like it's not huge, but the context was, and she had no way to know this, was that Aaron was trying to work with some company, I think, that wanted to write a source effect, and they were not getting it. So Aaron took all this time to write up this thing and explain
Yes,
it,
I do remember
and they're
that.
still struggling it. And he puts it out there, and some kid basically, like, not a kid, she was coming from Blizzard, like, but somebody out of nowhere comes in and was like, well, I understood this in 48 hours. I was able to put something together. So like, to your point, even if something seems small, just the fact that it's clean, the timing is a lot of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember now there was an added layer of context though, which was when we were scoping out, because so when I started at Epic, my job was QA oriented. I was working with Aaron, and I was basically A/Bing the old legacy engine and the new engine.
Yeah.
And at the time, Aaron's lead was the animator, head of animator, whatever, lead animator program, whatever, I forget his title at the time. But he was sort of head of animation, and so he didn't really understand anything about audio stuff. But because like Aaron at the time did not have a kid, so he was working weekends, crunching on like canonical effects like a compressor. Like I weekend would go by, I'd come back in the Monday morning, and like Aaron would have written like 5 source effects over the weekend, And one of the ones that was a Jira was this like flanger phaser or something like that we never did. And the lead kept asking about it, like, when are you going to do this flanger?
Just because it was in a Jira?
Just because it was in a Jira.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Helen doing that also added to that, like, well, now we'll have
that's perfect.
Whatever.
One of those effects, there was my favorite Jira title I ever got assigned to me was like, phaser becomes unstable and may explode. Like, that sounds awesome. It's like the most sci-fi Jira ever. It had assumed a sampler rate and did all this like initialization, and then like Switch comes along with a weird sample rate, and it was, the phaser exploded.
Yeah, working as design. Market done.
Yeah, as design. Set to kill.
Oh goodness,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the audio engine I wrote was a student project.
Yeah,
and honestly, I felt like that I didn't really show that off ever. I didn't have like my audio engine demo reel. Like I did have demo reels, but they were kind of piecemeal other projects, and a lot of them had eye candy to it because audio programming stuff is also hard to show off. But that project in particular, just it was not a good audio engine. It was it helped me so much conversationally. So like meeting Aaron, I would just be like, "Oh, how'd you handle this?" Which was just the thing ruining my life at the time. And I was like, "Oh," you know. So that would just help me ask good questions, basically. Like, but it was not super useful for showing off.
Well, I think that's also, but that's another thing that we do, right? Is like we are learning results, I guess you could call them, become part of our portfolio or reel or demo materials. But I think there's also just the hubris of like, I'm writing an audio engine as a student for Unreal.
Yeah.
And you say that to the person who's writing a new audio engine for Unreal.
Yeah. And he asked the first time we met, which was like in the middle of the day at this conference, that I was volunteering. I was like the volunteer coordinator for this conference. So someone introduces me to him because that's what I'm working on at the time. So he was like, "Have you looked at our source code? It's all open." And I had to say like, "No, that didn't occur to me." Great. And then someone else sings my praises enough for him to like have a second conversation with me. But then I go back that weekend and I just pour through everything, like coming through Unreal Engine stuff. And I was just doing everything I could to keep that conversation alive at the time. And so I was just asking questions. And I also assumed that everything Epic probably did was perfect at the time. Everything probably had some 1000 IQ reason and was meticulously thought of and bulletproof. And so I found something like the filter coefficients were recalculated like the per source low pass filter. Aaron would probably not like me telling a story. They're like the per source low pass filter was getting recalculated every audio sample.
Yeah.
And I was
every audio sample. Oh no.
Yeah. And so I was trying to figure that out at the time in my engine. Yeah. And so I asked, is there something, there's got to be some amazing reason. I asked Aaron this over email, trying to keep the conversation going, and just crickets. And then I found Ethan Geller was working at Epic at the time. And so I asked him the same question, and then they both got back to me at the same time with very different answers. And so I just started like a group conversation. I was like, maybe both of you should talk about this. But it was all from a place of like humility and curiosity. Like I didn't think it wasn't a gotcha or anything. I thought there was some crazy reason, but I stumbled onto something useful. Yeah. And then he made me an intern and made me fix it.
Well, I think that follow through is really important. Like we go to these networking events and it's very easy to just sort of let the conversation fall off. We have these conversations with folks, we exchange business cards or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's very easy to sort of let that sort of dissipate.
Oh, totally.
Void.
And people are busy too. It's important not to get discouraged. I know this is slightly off. This is tangential too.
It's all about getting a job, right?
Yeah. But I mean, there was other times when people would, I'd start a conversation with somebody, at some company. I really like the way your technical sound designers are sharing cubicle walls with your audio programmer. Like what is that like in that environment? Like that seems like the kind of environment I'd like to end up in, And be like, yeah, we'll have you come down to the studio, and I'm just in cloud nine, so excited. And then you don't hear anything because people get busy, or people people are also like, we're also all introverts, right? But so I just started going down the LinkedIn, like finding other people that worked at that company that like maybe went to the same college as me or something like that. And I would just start hitting them up. And so there's a couple of companies where I had lunch with like the entire audio department just because I had bugged everyone individually. And then someone would finally like hold up a date and be like, "Oh, I'm going to have lunch with this kid named Max." And everybody would be like, "Max Hayes?" Like I was in everybody's inbox. So yeah, that's huge. And it's important not to get discouraged, try to keep the conversation interesting. And then, you can also just go down the ranks and bug everyone in the organization until something pans out.
I got to go on a little tangent here for a second, though. You brought something up that I've been thinking about lately. Do people still use business cards?
Oh, am I an old person?
I'm legitimately asking this question. I haven't gone to a conference in like 7 or 8 years, and I'm going to one in October. I'm going to GameSoundCon.
Oh.
And I was thinking, fuck, do I need to make business cards? Do people hand out business cards? If I, like if I show up with business cards, are people going to look at me like I'm like 95 or totally out of touch or whatever?
I don't know. I've had both. I still get business cards from people. I don't know if I've ever used one. But I've also had people, for better or worse, just be like, "Who are you on LinkedIn?" Like you can make the connection right then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really common. Actually, I would say that's the last few conferences that I've been to. That has been very common, where like the conference will have like they'll actually put a QR code on your like pass.
Oh, okay.
That is like your email
website
or
whatever
like
you want
that.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That feels.
And then people will be like, "Let me get your thing," and I'll just be like, "What? What's going on?" Like I don't even realize.
Can I scan you?
Like,
yeah. Totally dystopian.
I will say that we have, like in GATA, we've definitely recommended people have them. I think it's better to have them than not. They're really cheap. It's really not, it's not that much to get a business card.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I have emphasized is if you do something cool on your business card, leave one side of the business card light and matte so that you can write on it. Because I think people forget about that sometimes.
Yeah.
I've always had the most success starting a conversation somehow on some medium, whether it's Gmail or email or on LinkedIn or a Twitter DM or something, just something, because conferences and stuff like that, especially if you're trying to reach out, it's hard to, anything that puts you just not in the same bucket as everybody else is useful, because everybody's trying to do the same thing and you're not trying to sound thirsty. But if you had some interesting conversation and you can try to keep it going by starting a message with the context of that conversation so that they actually remember the person and the context of what you're talking about, is huge.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll be just cleaning out my office and come across some little box of business cards from some GDC past and just be like, "Oh, Dan Reynolds. Who the hell's Dan Reynolds?" Like, Who? But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they're still floating around here somewhere. Like, just got a whole stack of them. And yeah, I think you're right, though. I think following up on LinkedIn or some sort of platform like that is a lot more valuable than just that little piece of cardboard.
Yeah. There's probably value in still having it, but it's not the thing to rely on for sure.
Right.
That's not your mechanism.
Now, if I don't have business cards, does that kind of make me look like I don't need them? And maybe this guy's really good. He doesn't even carry business cards.
Oh, yeah. And if someone hands you a business card, you just throw it over your shoulder right there. Like, thank you. So that's called aura farming. That's another approach.
Okay. I was thinking I might actually just eat the card.
Yeah, that's the power.
Not only do I not want your card, but I'm going to just weird you out.
Yeah. Now, I admit to not always bringing my business cards anymore because I am generally not looking for something when I go to a lot of times I'm working for Epic or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe that's a difference. Maybe that's what Max called it, looking thirsty. I think that could be a little bit of a difference there. I am also weirdly experiencing more people recognizing me, which is unnerving to my introverted self, but yeah. So I think that can make a difference a little bit too. I remember going to GDC really early on in my career and having business card interchanges that would be more one-sided than not, like, exchanging a business card with someone who's fairly seated and successful and not getting one back, from them or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a stack of business cards from Epic, and sometimes I forget to bring them. But I do have a business card holder. Someone was saying, some anonymous person on LinkedIn said, business card holder.
What is anonymous? I thought maybe it was the person you were talking to on LinkedIn, like being funny. But
no, it's just some random person on LinkedIn.
That's how it works. That's awesome.
For whatever reason, we don't get their name.
That's funny. Yeah, with GameStop coming up, I enjoy conferences a lot. I have the same mentality usually where I'm not looking for stuff, even if like the first and only time I went to GDC, I was basically trying to evaluate: do I want to switch to full time here, or do I want to like pursue something else? So I was very vigorously talking to people and just trying to get as much context as I could. But I feel like it's better to go to have fun and to make other people feel interesting. And you can show some competency in the stuff that you're asking people about what their problem space is, but it's very hard to go to a conference, have your business card, and try to be impressive. I feel like it's a rough formula.
Yeah, especially early in your career. It's like
because you're not.
What
you really
don't know
is,
anybody.
Yeah.
I feel like the first couple of GDCs I went to are probably the most awkward things I've ever gone through in my entire life. Where just like, I'm just going to sidle up to this group of people and maybe they'll talk to me. And it's
although
rough.
that was kind of like me last time that we had the Seattle Game Audio meetup.
Really?
Just a room full of people at just the tap or whatever it is.
I just did that,
and I would just sort of like sneak into a circle and then have nothing to say and then sort of sneak out.
That gets easier too as you know more people, because at least you can say hi to someone in the group. That's funny. Yeah. I've seen some of those where people go and sit on the sideline.
Yeah, that's also, I do that too. They have rooms around the corner where no one's in them, and you can just sort of sit there in the neon whatever, and then just sort of.
That blows my mind. I could not talk to these people from the comfort of my home.
Well, hey, I didn't go this last Wednesday or whatever, right? What Tuesday was it?
Yeah. What, Tuesday? Right. Yeah, Tuesday.
I stayed home.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like the Seattle game audio community has always been pretty welcoming. Like,
they're good.
There's always people who are like, that's a new guy or that's a new gal, and let's just let's see what they're about. And, I think it's one of the great things about Seattle, or Seattle game audio at least. I feel like with GDC, like there's so many more people that it's just like you can't have that kind of.
When you're starting out, it's super intimidating.
Yeah.
Like I remember for me, my first GDC, I was lucky because I had actually gotten a gig like right beforehand from Richard Jakes. It was like a subcontract from Richard Jakes, and so it was technically AAA, and I couldn't say what it was for, but I could say that I'd done some work for Richard Jakes, so that was a name people knew, and so that was like my shield, because I felt like the constant question that I was getting was, who are you and what have you done?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's nothing and no one, you're like,
yeah, it does suck. But that's where the key is to make it about the other person. Just
that's
get
a
them
good
to release dopamine association with you.
Well, I think also just I like Aaron's thing, which is just be cool, because I think I feel like the chats that I remember from GDC are actually not even around game audio. It's like just some interesting conversation I've had with someone,
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember having a conversation with, I don't even remember the person very well. I think they were like the head of localization for Lionhead Entertainment. It was for Fable 2. They were working on Fable 2. And we just started, I have a degree in English creative writing, and I attempted a degree in Japanese. And so I just started asking about, translation, cultural translation issues and stuff like that, which I think were interesting. And then that was a cool conversation. And it worked out really well for me in terms of me being included in the conversation until they started talking about scuba diving, which is definitely a rich person's hobby. Because they're like, have you ever been to this like tropical location to scuba dive? And I'm like, I've never even gone that far in the ocean. Like,
my neighbor has a pool. Yeah.
I'm from Colorado, sir.
Your "I'm from Colorado" bag is deep, though. I've seen it.
What do you mean? Oh,
yeah.
What do you mean? I don't know what that means.
Just like there's a lot of conversations where you can I've seen you
Where I
steer the
can fall
conversation
back
to Colorado. Here's the thing
on
about
this.
Colorado. Yeah.
Here's the thing about Colorado. You know, I grew up in a pretty great place. I like where I mean, I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and I still assert some of the best weather ever was when I was growing up. Beautiful, and I miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
But we don't have oceans.
No. Most oceans plural.
We don't even have the one ocean.
No, not one ocean.
Yeah.
That's huge. But yeah, and I also feel like at conferences and stuff, I feel like this is topical with GameStoneCon coming up. But if you're still really struggling to go talk to people just out of the intimidation factor, go talk to some people whose opinions you do not care about. go practice. Like same thing with interviewing. Like that's super useful because you can get that like nerve-wracking, say stupid things, like self-observation stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
And ease into it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Well, and also talking to people who are at a similar level to you. Basically,
yeah,
a lot of people go and be like, let me find the audio director or whoever at such and such a company and let me try to, smooth them, right? But it's like talking to people who are at your level or slightly above your level in their career, I feel like is a better long-term investment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just having a good rapport with someone who can't do anything for you, like that's good, right? That's like a solid personal connection, and that's the kind of stuff that pays off in 5 years, 10 years, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of them as the cohorts.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people I remember at my first 2 GDCs, I would say, I met a lot of people who are in very similar starting points in their career. And I remember getting, because we would just commiserate all the time online. And when when one of us didn't have some work situation, one of others, was like, hey, I've got some subcontract work, or I could throw you a bone here or there. And that was always really useful. I was usually on the receiving end of those. But yeah, it is a sort of like a support structure that you can build by just being a nice person, good person.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, getting the first foot in the door, I think, was always the hardest thing, right? Like,
yeah, like every little bit of validation you collect makes it so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not that much further. If you feel like you don't have any of those badges yet, you're not that far from a person who has one or two.
Sure. Yeah.
You're right there.
It doesn't feel that when you're starting out. It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah,
I remember I was super overwhelmed in my first GDC. I think it was Friday, it was Thursday, but the Gang Awards had just happened. Maybe it was I don't know. I felt like it was the next day after Gang Awards, and just feeling like I didn't belong there. Like I was like, how dare I think I am at any of these people's level, like. And I just had the expo pass, so I was just sitting at the tables, on floor 2 or whatever. And I remember Brian Schmidt sitting down and asking me about myself, like just just being a nice person. And like for me at the time, this person had just won the Lifetime Achievement Award from Gang, like
yeah.
And that was like, what? Like, this is really cool. And then Rod Abernethy also came by, and both of those folks I remember really early in my career just being very nice. People who were very, positioned at the time in their careers, and that's the kind of thing you don't really forget. And then some hotshot composer came by, and I didn't exist to him, and it was like the conversation had to shift, around him and his agent, whatever was going on there. And I never forgot that either. So I won't name him. He won't know who he is.
He won't know.
He doesn't even.
All of them are going. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so in terms of demonstration stuff, like kind of going back to that, I feel like it is a sort of ever evolving space. I think what helps is keeping up on, like you were just saying, James, that you're like, oh, I got to check out this meta sound thing, because now you could be looking at some work where you might need to know it, right?
Yeah.
And it's a games, for better or worse, are a sort of tech-driven industry, and as a tech-driven industry, the like technical space is constantly evolving. It's constantly pushing. A lot of game studios, sort of in the like bipolar regions, AAA space and like the indie space, are trying to innovate in some way or another, and that is it sort of demands a kind of constant pursuit, a constant chasing of
Curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I think having a curious nature really helps, because then you're just like, what is this meta sound thing? And then you just sort of naturally learn about it. But yeah, I think I think there is a sort of demand, and I think that shouldn't be underestimated, because I'm in a Slack server with a bunch of crusty old composers, and it's easy to sort of get grumpy about the state of things and the nature of the industry and stuff like that. But I also see some of my colleagues who, who themselves have 20-year plus careers, just getting really frustrated with having to learn something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good position to be in, because there's the sort of undertow of new folks who are absolutely all about learning new stuff. So
Yeah. I think even from project to project, that can be an issue, right? So if
yeah.
you're working on a project with an older version of Unreal or Unity or whatever, and using an older version of middleware, and then you transition to a new product, a new project. It's like, oh, well, okay, this is a brand new version of this tool. It works very differently. There's new things. Maybe there's a custom implementation in one project or another. And it's just like you do have to kind of relearn the tools from project to project. Has its own challenges.
Yeah. And sometimes there's studios, right? Like lots of studios still, who have their own tech stack that's not publicly available,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be willing to learn, because that's sort of the expectation coming into the work itself.
Yeah. If I were doing it these days, and I was in that space where I'm trying to break in or I'm trying to learn things, I would be trying to do the super short form content. I don't know if I'd be trying to be impressive. I'd be trying to like be a value proposition. Like if I had to go learn meta sounds, I would just be recording myself trying to do it for the 2 days or 3 days or whatever. And then I would turn that into a 45-second video that was like my confusion and realizations and stuff like that. That could be a little pathway that someone could digest that in less than a minute. That would be at least part of my online presence, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take.
That's cool.
Because it's also like I feel like there's this weird reverse psychology thing that shows up when you validate other people, how other people are feeling. Like you've alluded to imposter syndrome and that kind of stuff a few times. So if you have a platform where you can show confidence and competence, but also confusion, and that you're going through the same process everybody else does, it makes people feel good, but also in a way makes them feel like you're smart, even by reflecting how they feel about themselves. You know what I mean? I call it like this reverse narcissism. like if everyone's in a meeting and you ask the same dumb question everybody's asking themselves, they're like, that guy gets it. You know what I mean? Like that's a useful space.
Yeah. I think it's hard for folks to not wanting to look like they don't know something, right?
Yeah.
When the reality is
true.
the amount of stuff that you don't know about game audio is,
for
me, is enormous, right? There's always a million more things
It's
like
nonstop.
But the idea that if I don't know it, I can go and learn it, like that's really what's key.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like there's a lot of value in knowing how people work through problems. I think there's a lot to be said there. And whether that's like I mean, I hope it's not performative, but like whether it's like what is this meta sound thing? Join me on my 45-second journey. Or if it's like just the value in seeing the sketch, the work in progress, and the the process to the solution. I think there's a lot of value in it. Because I think when it comes to perspectives, you this is about someone who's going to be working with you, solving problems with you, and knowing how their mind sorts through, I think, gives you a lot of insight into the kind of person they would be on a project and the kind of way that they might tackle the problem space.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's useful to put yourself out there that way in a genuine way, because I mean, you want to find, even though it feels like you take whatever you can get when you're just starting out, in reality, you do want to be matched up with a team or a person or a company that lines up well with you too.
Yeah.
In that regard, you'll do better there.
Yeah.
Be less stressful.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I agree with you. I think it's hard to be picky about your employer especially when you're trying to break in a very saturated industry.
Yeah.
And very competitive.
Not to say that you would have your pick of the litter, but when it comes to how you put yourself out there, doing it in a genuine way, so that when you're trying to attract things, you're attracting the right things. There's a level that's useful.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it should be more of a match. I have definitely been in a situation and have had colleagues in situations where it's like, okay, they've learned the job sucks. And it's like, well, if you can make it to ship, if you can ship, then you've got a credit. And then you can... And those kind of companies have high turnover. Like, they ship, and then a bunch of people leave the company, and they refill. And there's like high churn, but it's like, there is a kind of like, if you can bear it, and you can get to ship, then you've got a shipped, because a ship title is kind of a huge milestone when you're starting out.
Yeah.
And I don't recommend staying. I mental health wise, I think it's absolutely a mistake. Don't stay there. But I have also bared the cost of working at a very crunchy place, and just seeing if I can get through the other side of it, and hoping for the better. And sometimes that's worked out. Sometimes it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, that's tricky too, because I mean, a lot of times you're at a studio like that for a couple of years, right? And it's just like, all right, I just got to make it through this last year or last push to ship. And if you don't, it's like, well, if I leave now for my health or to try to find a better match, like, am I kind of throwing away that last 2 years of what I've worked on, right? I can't show it because the game's not going to ship for another 2 years,
right?
And I don't have the credit to say. I could say I worked there, but I don't have it as like a ship's title credit. So it can be a tough one.
And sometimes those studios are such a shit show that they don't ship anyway. And then you're just suffering for nothing.
Yeah.
There's always those stories of people quitting some crunchy project right before it blows up and everyone gets huge bonuses or something.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
It's like timing to time the market. Like, there's no way to know to do what's right for you.
Some of those studios are super petty about people who leave right before ship. They'll like rip your credit off the game and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of personalities that when you get to the head of studios, there's a lot of strong personalities.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so Max, your tech demo would be 45 seconds long.
45 seconds. That's a good one.
Yeah, it would be whatever TikTok's doing. I'm not on TikTok, but that's where it would be.
Yeah, like what is I mean, given that you typically need to kind of show off a little bit more, get under the hood a little bit more, like what is the maximum time for a video like that? Like at what point do you just lose people who are like, yeah, cool, I'll watch the rest later, right?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's different, like what job is that video doing? Is it for someone whose attention you already have for one reason or another and you're demonstrating something? It's cool if that video can be a conference talk or something, later on that has its own like little validating badge.
Mhm.
But I mean, I've had other videos for scholarships or just to have floating around on my website at the time that are 2 minutes long and they show 10 projects, and it's hard, especially with audio programming. I mean, we're still a visual species, right? That doesn't go away. So, I mean, I've been annoyed where I've done some really polished audio stuff where I thought the tech was cool and I thought my sound design was cool, but it never does as well as like I did like an ambisonic, like RMS, like visualizer spherical thing.
Yeah.
And it's like a bird chirping, but it's got all this eye candy going on. And that had way more traction than anything else I'd done. So even in those videos, it's still kind of visual centric. I have background music that's high energy and like just ducking down when you actually need to hear something, like here's a spatializer. Oh, it's a truck that went like this. And then the club music's back up and it's something visual,
Mm-hmm.
So there's the stuff that's just optimized for attention over comprehension on some level.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff where you assume you have the attention and people are watching it. And for me, most of that stuff is hopefully talking in front of other people. Like I have an AES talk on quartz where it really gets into the weeds, but I don't know if I would get as many people watching it if it was I'm at home and I'm going to record this 2-hour video on my feature.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think for the conference talks, obviously, it's like you've got kind of a captive audience.
Yeah.
They're there to talk. They know what they're signed up for, right?
You've locked the doors.
Right. Yeah. The windows are barred.
Yeah. And people watching it online was like, well, those people sat through it. Maybe there's something.
Maybe there's something to this.
Yeah, but they're online. They're all doing like multiple things, right? They got it on
That's
one
right.
screen while they're, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for something where you're just like, I want something bite-sized that I can just put on my website, put up on LinkedIn, put up somewhere where people will just kind of latch onto it, be interested in it, and kind of like, get to know you, kind of get to know what you do. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's been a bit of a struggle. Like, Dan, like the videos I posted a few weeks ago, I thought, all right, yeah, I'll just do a quick video on those. Like the first draft of that video was like 26 minutes long. Right?
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's like every time you do it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta talk about this, or I gotta explain how this works, or I gotta show that this is here to, account for this edge case, right? And it's just like, if you do all of that stuff, it just balloons, right? So like the version I ended up with was just like I don't even talk about half of the features that are on the tool, right? It's just kind of like, yeah, you can do this, this, and this. Look over here now, right? So it's kind of hard trying to figure out how do I keep the pacing of this, keep the interest going, so people aren't going to tune out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stuff I've had the most success, and this was a while ago, I haven't put effort into this space in a long time, but is almost a borderline like live tweet. Like they're kind of low effort videos. This is something I'm working on. I've got enough to show the concept. Like, what do people think? Does anyone have criticism? Maybe I'll tag some people that I look up to that have some experience in that space. And then if they say something, which I've done this both to like Aaron McLeran, I've done this to Rob Banton. Like if they actually reply to your tweet with a suggestion or something, then it's go time. Then you're like crunching through the net to implement the thing and follow up with another video.
Yeah.
So I like the back and forth stuff a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always felt very high pressure to put it all on one video. Like this will make people understand and interested as its own encapsulated project or product that you put out there.
Yeah, for sure. So it's almost like you're making like a teaser trailer, right?
A little bit, just as a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as part of a conversation more than its own standalone thing.
Yeah.
I think with like the ambisonic RMS thing, this was before the internship, but I'd put something out there, and then I think Aaron McLeran was like, "Why not fourth order?" And so I was like, dang it. And so it's like worked a bunch of like over 2 days to get it to fourth order, and like, here you go. And he thumbs up it. And I was like, great. That was what that was for.
2 days for
Yeah.
Totally.
I have, so my strategy has been not secretively educational content. That has been my strategy. Like a lot of, there are probably 3 main reasons. This is, by the way, this is looking under the rock here. All of my dark secrets are coming out tonight. My sort of like strategy for like if you look at my YouTube history, it's going to be like, I started getting whatever. I had a YouTube channel really early on, but didn't do anything with it. Posted some music that I worked on. But then like when I started working at Epic, then it's kind of like when I started actually posting a lot of content. And there were 3 reasons why I posted, and I still post, and even why we're doing what we're doing right now. And as one is, I wanted to, well, first of all, as someone who is engaged with Unreal audio development, I'm get a lot of community interactions, and people ask me questions all the time how to do stuff, or they'll be like, I don't hear reverb, why? And it's just like, okay, then I have to go through like 20 questions about like, did you do this, did you do this, did you do this? And so I would just post a video. It's like, this is how to do reverb. And then now when they go, I don't hear reverb, why? I just post the link to that video. So that's part of it. Part of the other reason is that I want to maintain a kind of presence in the community. I know that a lot of game audio recruitment works on short lists. Like there's very rarely a rec for a game audio rec that goes up where the audio director, whoever the gatekeepers are, don't already have some people in mind. Like that's something that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I also want to project a kind of, whether I'm successful or not, a kind of expertise. Like I sort of, and if I've done this successfully, it fooled everyone here, then that's worked out.
Can't confirm Dan Reynolds is a successful expert.
So that has been my strategy, and it hasn't come in. It takes a lot of work to create concise videos. Like I don't know how long you spent on your shorter versions, but I can extemporaneously describe a feature in 40 minutes. Like give me half an hour of video time and I can walk through the feature and you'll get everything about it. Yeah. But if you want it in 4 minutes, I could do it, but it takes a lot of editing. Like I gotta write a script, and I have to, I have to know all the beats, and what the, and all that all the shots and the timing, and I gotta like be able to cut together the process so that like it makes sense. Like if I'm walking through some blueprint or, whatever. And so it's like that, like people, I don't think really quite appreciate. Like if I do a 40-minute video, I can just do it in 40 minutes. But if I do a 4-minute video, it takes me all week. Like it's a whole So
I mean, I'm not a great speaker, right? I trip over my words a lot. I say a lot, that kind of stuff. Things that don't translate well on a video. So when I do these videos, there's definitely a lot of frustration. There's a lot of fun outtakes of me getting annoyed at myself. But the format that I've found that works seems to be just do kind of a stream of consciousness version, and then try to like condense that down to like just the core parts, and then I'll cut the video to that, and then I'll go overdub the entire VO again, just like kind of line by line, because it's like I want to say the same things I said, but sometimes I say the wrong word, and sometimes I mumble, right?
So your face is not on these?
No, who wants to see my face? Come
I don't care who doesn't want to see my face, but I want, if I put something out there and then you see me at a conference, I want you to be like, that guy looks familiar.
That one.
First,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
No, I that would make
It would make overdubbing a lot harder.
overdubbing really difficult. I'd have to get some like AI tools going on there or something, but and no one wants that.
No one
So,
wants that.
but yeah, and I've tried the pre-scripted thing too, but when I do that, it just feels like a script, right? It feels
like you're reading.
I am reading a script. This is the next thing I will say. Blah blah. You know, it just like has no real flow to it. So, yeah, it's like I'm doing ADR on my own videos or something. So
I think that's a good strategy.
yeah,
The sound effects guys in the chat, who also has a YouTube, you all should check it out. Great YouTube channel, a bunch of resources on there. But yeah, it is a pain to edit stuff together. I'm sorry, sound effects guy. I tried to find your name. I don't know what your name is. I don't know if you just want to go as the sound effects guy. That's fine. But yeah, I'd be interested to know how long it takes you to do one of your videos, because your videos are pretty clean. They're pretty well cut, and you intermix it with like the desk presentation, like the on-screen presentation, and the like screen capture cuts and stuff. I think that's what would happen, right? If you were to capture your face or whatever, do it like a camera, then you would intercut for the overdubs.
Yeah.
That's a pretty traditional method.
I've done it both for videos or if I'm doing like kind of a little online demo or something like that, something live where I don't have a script, but I have bullet points for the stuff I want to cover that is intentionally not something you can just say out loud as a human. You know what I mean? It's so terse and everything that it has to be unpacked at runtime. You know what I mean? So that it has to end up coming off a little more natural.
Mm.
But as soon as I have something that is almost a complete sentence, I'll just lock into that and start reading it, and it'll sound totally robotic.
I feel like 45 seconds would be even harder to. I feel like at that point you don't even want to talk. It's just like.
Oh, the shorts, that would be like me recording everything and then laboriously just taking the tiny little highlights, like optimized for attention.
Yeah, here we go. Sound effects guy says for so it's like 4 days basically of production. Yeah.
that makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's so much work. Yeah. Just
Oh, it's Sean. Okay, hi, Sean.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was looking on your YouTube channel. I was like, what is this person's name? I can't find the name. And so yeah, now thank you. And I'm sorry if I missed it and it was obvious that I was dumb. Yeah, the 4 days is because before I worked at Epic, I worked at a recording arts school, and for about a year-ish at the end of my time there, I was their like interim director of online education, and I had to sort of they had like a learning content management system that they had licensed, and so I was like responsible for administering all of that. And one of the things that at the time, I think this has changed since, but at the time there was a sort of assertion that the amount of attention a student could get, a video could take from someone was 4 to 10 minutes. It was 4 minutes for like a normal video, and then 10 minutes max for like an educational content video.
Mhm.
And so it was. I tried to create very high production. I was sort of strangled for resources at the school, but I tried to go through the process of creating like a high production presentation for the video, for like a 10-minute video, and it took me a week to do a 10-minute video. So it was sort of validated by Sean's thing there, because obviously Sean's pretty experienced. Lots of videos on the channel there, the Sound Effects Guy channel. And that was like, I was like, hey, look, this is how long it's gonna take me, and they were like not happy at all with a turnover. And it was just like this. I don't know what to say. Like, this is if you want it like this, then this is what it's gonna cost us.
That's crazy.
But I think that's like that was one of the, and I had like lots of problems with that school. I can go in and rant about for-profit education in the United States. It's a mess, especially at vocational school level. It's a disaster. So I was like really angry. I got laid off. My whole department got laid off because the school was basically drowning.
Brutal.
I was pretty upset at them, and I was like, I'm gonna take them out of business by like, that was actually the original idea behind the YouTube channel, was like, I'm gonna tear down this industry by just giving the curriculum out there, like, because I was like, I just make it free, right? But the overhead cost of maintaining game audio educational materials, because it's a constantly evolving technological space, is a full-time job. So I realized I would never be able to devote that much of my life to revenge. So that's yeah.
It's a good goal, though.
That's healthy. Speaking of mental health,
yeah,
that's good.
So I've done some videos as well, much faster by just doing text overlays. I know you can't always do that, right? Sometimes
text overlays, okay.
Yeah, sometimes the content just does not lend itself, right? You'd have to have like a novel scrolling, like Star Wars style, over your video. But I don't know. Thoughts on that? Is it less personal? Does it?
I mean, I think it serves a function, because there's stuff, if I'm scrolling online on public transportation or something, I can digest that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas even if the topic interests me, I can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and specifically if it's something that's got audio examples, right? So you can either explain it and then play it, explain it, then play it, or you can basically just play it with a little text overlay that says, this is these layers playing, or this is an example of this attenuation doing this, right? So I found that those are much easier to make, because obviously all I have to do is type the text in, but it can be difficult to kind of boil things down so it fits on screen and people can like read it without feeling overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I got to catch this before it goes by. It's 3 sentences long, and so I don't know. Have you guys done similar things and have thoughts?
Well, so here's what I have. I have attempted to plan text presentations. In other words, like, here's my meta sound, and then I have a little, like, I've bought from like Invado Market, like little call out overlay widgets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find challenging is the amount of text that I want to put in there. Like, it's like, I want to put 3 sentences, and that is not readable.
Yeah.
Like, in the space that I've provided myself on screen, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's still like that sort of being concise. How do you achieve that, like, brevity?
Yeah. It doesn't work for everything, but I don't know. I think it can be a way to kind of at least cut down on the production time for creating those videos.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I'm sort of curious, like, how are you? This is really getting off into the side weeds here, but what's your video editing environment like? What are you?
I just switched over to DaVinci Resolve.
Okay.
Which is free, which is nice and works pretty well. Before that, I was using Adobe Premiere, but when I got laid off, I lost my Adobe Premiere license. So I tried using their free version, but it is not fun. So it's very limited. It's very kind of like, it's free unless you want to do something, and then you have to buy it. So, but I've had good experiences with DaVinci so far. Still learning it, but it's.
Is it very different?
It's not too different. But there's some things that's like, it's like any new piece of software. You're like, I know I can probably do this. I know there's a keyboard shortcut but I just don't know what that keyboard shortcut is.
Yeah.
Oh, did we lose Max?
We might have. I don't know if he had to step out or not.
Okay.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
All
good.
right.
Welcome
Maybe did he close the window? Maybe. Who knows?
And everything.
back. I offended him with my video editor talk.
I'm sorry.
I'm out of here.
He's like, "Ugh."
I'm a Premiere free stan.
No, the sound effects guy makes a good point. Sean makes a good point. That a lot of people are, and I am guilty of this also, is like I just want give me the info. I'm looking for something specific.
Yeah.
And I found your video because it hit the top of my search list, and I automatically skipped the intro by going in, like,
skip
1/5 into the the video, and it's like that has like the little video bump. It's like that's the spot everyone skips to just to see if we can pass it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think that's valid. I mean, if you're only interested in one piece of information, right? Like, how does this one thing work, right? Like, there's no need to spend an extra 12 minutes just listening to someone talk about, everything else under the sun.
That's right.
Have either of you done the thing where you chop up your longer form content to throw out there as nuggets?
I know.
No.
I mean, I'd like to. I want to do that with the live stream. I think sometimes we have moments.
Oh, yeah. Someone says something controversial.
Someone says
top of the funnel, baby. Let's go.
You said I wanted to, actually. You said top of the funnel. I wanted to bring that up. Funnel marketing.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about it was the length, the duration of the video, right? So it's like top of the funnel, right? Is like your sort of like your high surface contact area, and that's the like, are people even interested? And it's just like give them the most concise presentation of whether or not they want to go to the next layer of your funnel.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's all like, and then the videos get longer until then at the very bottom is like your AES presentation, Max. And then it's just Max's AES presentation there at the bottom. And then
just my mom.
Yeah, it's just oh my God, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You want to tell that story, Max?
I don't know which story you're thinking of.
My
father?
Oh yeah, it was your dad that messaged Aaron right after your internship or whatever.
Before my internship,
dude.
Yeah. That was cool. Aaron was nice enough not to tell me until after we had a rapport. The end.
That's the whole story.
Yeah, hit him up on LinkedIn. Good choice. I too looked at all your candidates and thought that my son was yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cute.
There's your clip, Dan.
There's your clip.
There you go.
To your point, though, I did that recently, Max. I had these videos I did a couple years ago for a Wise Tour thing, which is just a whole like hour and a half talk on physics and destruction audio.
Oh, no.
I figure, like, man, no one's gonna ever watch the whole hour and a half thing. It's like, I post on my website. It's like, all right, it's here. It's actually in 2 parts because it's that long. And like, I thought I should just pull some stuff out of here that can be like a little more digestible. So yeah, I kind of went in and took a little video and just like cut some stuff together from the examples. And I think I can, and posted on my website, but then said, this is an excerpt from these longer videos. So if you're like super into this for whatever reason, like, have at it. But in the meantime, like, it's content on your website that someone's more likely to view rather than just ignore, because it's like, I don't have an hour and a half to listen to some jackass talk about,
Right. Do you have metrics on where, if someone's in your long form video, if they how many of those people came from a short or something?
I don't know. I can look into that. My website's brand new. I never needed a website until I got laid off. So just exploring that new horizon.
That's cool. Because you see that all the time. Especially like YouTube. That's where my ingestion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, where of the shorts, and then they'll have the link to the longer form thing. But then for some reason, it makes me so mad when I've seen the long version of something and then I keep getting the teasers. I'm like, I already know this.
It's just
Stop showing me algorithm. Yeah.
Well, that's like Amazon, like saying, "Hey, do you like laundry detergent after you just purchased some laundry detergent?"
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like what?
Or a big ticket item. You're like,
Yeah.
would you like 7 more laundry machines?
Yep.
You love these. Yeah.
Yep.
You seem to be on a dryer buying roll. Tap into this momentum.
Yeah, the algorithm is ridiculous. Social media is the worst.
It's horrible.
Yep.
I got addicted to YouTube Shorts because I uninstalled everything else from my phone. I was
Yeah.
like, if this app is monetized by me staying in the ecosystem, I'm deleting it. And then I became a YouTube Shorts addict because that was the last thing on my.
So I don't know how. So the YouTube, I don't. For some reason, it doesn't maybe work right for me because like every time I see a short, there is no follow up in the algorithm. It's just like that's the short, and it's like, oh, okay. Like I go scroll down, and then it's like there's nothing, and so
What?
then
Oh yeah, no, it's broken.
yeah.
What should be below it is the rest of your evening. Swiping by, looking for dopamine. But then they also have, on a serious note, they have like a lot of them have a link to a full fat YouTube video.
Yeah,
in 'em.
yeah. That's what I need to do. I need to get on that short video bandwagon.
Yeah, get your funnel in order. Oh man, I have the live stream over here, and I just see out the corner of my eye me doing this 8 seconds later.
Yeah, it's like a 15-second delay or something.
That's
yeah,
wild.
it's quite significant. Yeah, so there, everyone should know exactly what they need to do now to get a job.
Yeah, next week you should all be hired.
Fingers crossed.
After GameStop, we'll give it after.
So I did want to sort of ask you, a little bit, James, about being a principal technical sound designer.
Yes.
Because to me, that's the sweet spot of like IC advancement. That is what I would like. My title is senior technical audio designer.
You want the principal
I want that
title.
principal. Give me the principal.
Yeah, it's a title. And the funny thing about titles is they don't really mean anything. Right? Like, Dan, you have way more experience as a technical sound designer than I do, right? But my company decided, oh, we're losing a lot of people at this time of year, so maybe we need to start making people feel a little happy, right? And I'm not trying to like denigrate myself or say I suck or anything, but it's just like, if I was a senior technical sound designer, I would, you can call me that too, and it's totally fine, right? Like, I don't feel like it really makes a difference. Like, I mean, if you go from studio to studio, this is actually another point I was going to bring up earlier, just about just technical sound designer in general. Like, what does that mean, right? Because game titles are so weird, right? It's like, what does sound designer mean? What does technical sound designer mean? Are you an audio implementer, right? Like, these are all things that just every studio has an entirely different approach to that, right? And you can kind of see it when people, talk about technical sound design. It's like some people are like, yeah, this is all about system design and creating systems, and other people are like, oh no, this is just plugging stuff in, right? This is adding emitters to the level. This is
right,
building out the audio world, right? So I feel like anytime you talk about titles, it's just got to be like, what's the context?
Yeah,
you'll never really have an honest conversation about them unless you can really understand, like, this is what this company thinks is a principle, and this is what this company thinks is a principle. And for technical sound design, this company thinks it's just plugging sounds in, and this one thinks it's building out entire systems, right? So
it's the same with audio programming. Like,
it's crazy overloaded.
Yeah, like
it's like a huge spectrum.
Yeah, you said, I forget what you mentioned earlier, Max, what your sort of domain is right now is like more render. Oh no, it was render oriented, and now you're getting more into the like it's almost like I don't know, authoring or something, tooling or something like that. Where would you describe? How would you describe your domain now?
I mean, it varies. I still do a good amount of rendering and optimization stuff, but some of this stuff is future-facing conversations, um, cross-disciplinary, which can be fun and also feel like an interesting use of time sometimes. Like you're hanging out with like the head of animation and particle effects, and you're like, what does it mean to play to all of us? Like, but yeah, I guess it's kind of like system design. It's fun. It's kind of a clean slate thing. And I get to talk to a lot of people outside of audio, which is also a good time.
What would you describe as the range of like the spectrum of audio programming in games? So I feel like we have a full stack. We've got like a kind of a little bit of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on which end of the spectrum to start at. You have people that are probably most comfortable interacting with middleware that you said were very close to basically being gameplay programmers, but familiar with the audio problem space and tool set. But their core competency is really kind of gameplay layer and middleware layer. And then you have people that are more probably on the tool side, that are comfortable making UI and shepherding data around and making things that are will speed up sound designers' days and make them more creative and that kind of thing. And then I'm probably the next step down, which is I kind of brush up against that, but no one's going to expect me to make a pretty editor tool. But I'm comfortable, serialization, and I've some DSP chops, but I wouldn't consider myself a DSP expert. But like I'll look at a paper and turn it into C++ and debug a reverb, that kind of thing, and kind of lower level CS stuff, rendering optimization, stream caching, that kind of thing. And then you have people that are probably closer, more like the research and like DSP deep dive. Like they've never put a button on a screen in their life, but they're off the deep end in terms of signal processing, math and theory. Yeah, and that's a continuum. People can be any subset of that spectrum. But you use the same job title to describe someone doing like ambisonics R&D or something versus somebody that's super comfortable with wise integrations and keeping that smooth.
I don't know if this would be. I mean, I would also add in. I think maybe like platform.
Sure.
Because you have.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that would necessarily be. You like if you could lump it in with middleware, but it's like you're working with some third-party SDK. You're implementing features on some hardware level features. You're dealing with maybe special codecs, implementing codecs. I guess that might
totally
play in a little bit, kind of like your stream caching sort of touches around that area too.
But yeah, and it's not on a single axis. Like you have people that go deep, like the Rad Games tools on perceptual compression codecs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've done some platform stuff, especially earlier on when we were switching one platform at a time over to the new audio engine, the audio mixer. I was wrapping up the iOS thing, and that's almost its own. Yeah, that's its own task platform. Yeah. That's almost an extension of like perfmem, like performance and memory management, because it's kind of low level, and you don't need to be super audio aware. I feel like for if you're hyper focused on platform stuff, it's a lot of CS problems. But I mean, you're aware of like the audio callback and different mechanisms for how do we get audio to hardware, how do we get an audio buffer to hardware,
right?
And how do we abstract that so that it works the rest of the rendering engine, interfaces with all the platforms in a cohesive way. But yeah, it goes deep. There's a lot of nuance to audio programming.
I feel like there may be more of this kind of work. like middleware was very dominant for a very long time, but you hear like about maybe, I don't know, Rockstar, and their engine, their cool stuff they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This might be older, but I remember Guerrilla Games doing some really cool presentations on their tech, and obviously you have like internal middleware like Scream and things like that.
Yeah,
I feel
totally.
like there's, but it does seem like the deeper you go, the more niche, the more narrow the demand for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Industry.
Yeah, definitely. The thing I'm most excited for GTA 6 is audio GDC talks and white papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always have really interesting talks. Cool. Well, yeah, I don't know. This is pretty good chat. I felt like, I don't know. Maybe this is our stopping point. How do y'all
Works
feel
for
about
me.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my bladder are good with that.
Well, cool. Well, thanks both James and Max for joining us, and all the folks in the chat, Steven, Shape Noise, and Max's own fan, Pierce Cram.
And LinkedIn user. And also don't forget LinkedIn user.
And then anonymous LinkedIn user.
And LinkedIn user.
Parentheses S. We don't know how many there are.
No, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for the
Yeah.
invite.
Yeah, thanks for
Nice.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone, and until next time, keep Tech Auto chatting. No, keep.
You need to sign off, man.
I'll figure something out.
You need to figure it out.